Today, we are going to talk about the free offers from Starlink. So that's going to be your free Starlink kit, free minis, free mini routers, free month of service, and we also have free installation videos to show you how to do it. So we're going to break down all of this in this video. We did one a little while ago and a bunch of questions were asked, so it basically made us do a bunch of research. We're going to try to keep this video as fast paced as we can, but we're going to jam every piece of information into it, so you're going to have to bear with us, because if you're going to get a Starlink or thinking about it, this is going to give you the ultimate guide to everything that you need to know as of right now. Just keep in mind, I do not work for Starlink. I am not affiliated with them at all, other than our referral code gets us a little bit of a perk, and it gets you a free month of service. I have been an installer since the very beginning, back when these things, these $650 American or $800 Canadians, look at that, it's been out in the snow. Since those came out, then we went on to those ones, which are about $350, 500 Canadian, and now we're on to these ones, the Generation 3s. And these are the ones that now they're finally giving away for free, and we have cheap plans to go with all of this stuff. So we're going to break it down piece by piece. We're going to give you every piece of information that we can to the best of our knowledge, but you are going to be required to go down to the referral link, click on it, put in your address to see what is currently available in your area, and make sure you look at the terms and conditions. But we're going to show you exactly what to look for. So now let me just get into the background a little bit. I am an installer in an area that's had it open since beta testing began in Canada. I've done hundreds of installs. Before that, I've done a couple thousand ExploreNet installs. And if you don't believe me, I've taken evidence from a bunch of the installs that I've done. I just keep them in case the customers need them for anything. But anyway, so we're going to talk about the rental unit. So this is your main residential kit, which can also be used as a roam as well. So bear with me, there's a lot of information to go through all of this. So with this one now, you can either buy it for $350 American or $500 Canadian, in which case you're not under any kind of a contract or anything like that, and you own the dish, so your plans can go up and down, you can change them, you can suspend them, whatever you want to do. For the rental unit, you go in, you put your address in there, you sign up for a rental unit, and they will send it to you for free. You keep paying your bill every month for 12 months. But you're going to want to make sure you pick your plan carefully, because this is where they get you. You can't really change your plan without being penalized for it. So make sure that you stay till the end, and we're going to talk about what plans you guys are going to need so you don't get kind of fooled into the wrong plan. I will go over that very specifically. I have a very large client base, and I do this all the time to make sure everybody gets the best deal possible. I work for the customers. I do not work for Starlink. So if you want to buy one of these, I was told by somebody at Starlink that you go in to the roam where you can buy the dish instead of the residential, and then you buy the dish. And then after you get it and you activate it, then you just change the plan to a residential plan, because you have 30 days to opt out or change anything. So in Canada, that's the law. In the US, I don't know if it's the law, but they do honor it. So you have 30 days before you're hooked into a contract. So the kind of fine print there, how they get you with the free dishes, you are basically signing a 12-month contract. I don't know if it's technically a contract, but it certainly operates like one. Okay, so the deal is, with the 12-month kind of agreement that you have there to get the free dish, is you're hooked in there for your plan for 12 months. You can change things, but there is penalties involved. So if you want to alter anything or just cancel outright, they're going to ask for the dish back. But in the US, it is a $300 kind of deal there, which breaks down to $25 a month. If you're 4 months into it, then you're going to owe $200, because 4 months you've honored the deal, right? So it's whatever you have left over. If you have 2 months left over, it's going to be $50, $25 for the last 2 months, right? Okay, if you're in Canada, it's going to be $500, which is going to come down to just under $42 a month. So same deal, the exact same premise. However length of time you have left is how much you'd have to buy it out. So basically, I tell everybody in my customer base that, especially with the lower plans now, rather than buy it, just get the rental unit and just know that you're committed for a year. A year is not that big of a commitment. And everybody out there is like, well, I'm just going to wait for Amazon Leo to come out. It's like, well, it's a year commitment, guys. I mean, Amazon's going to take a while to get it all figured out too. So I wouldn't wait on that. Okay, so one thing I would like to add, now that they've got much reduced plans here, because we were forced to have the maximum, I have a bunch of cottagers that come here, and they're only here for 6 months out of the year. So we've done the math. Buying the dish and then paying for 6 months of service is a couple $100 more than getting the rental unit and paying for the whole year, and it's just cheaper that way. It wasn't that case when the plans were double what they are now, but that's just something to keep in mind. I honestly think that there's very few instances if the plan is cheap enough to be paying for the dish. So when you sign up for the 12-month deal for the rental dish, you have 30 days to opt out of it. So if you try it out for a couple weeks and determine that it's not for you, then you can just pack it up and send it back, and then there's going to be some fee involved, but it's not going to be a penalizing cancellation fee. It's probably just the shipping fee. And then after you've gone through the entire year and your agreement is over, if you decide that you're going to cancel, they're probably just going to ask for it back. Same thing. You're only going to have to pay for the shipping. You're not going to have to pay any cancellation or anything like that. So you're making a 1-year deal with a pretty cheap buyout if you like if you moved or something and you had to pay them a couple $100s to get out of it. So it's not like thousands of dollars punishment. Okay, so once again, we'll talk about the plans at the end, but that pretty much wraps up the residential dish. Apart from the fact that if you want the free mini dish, you do have to be on the maximum plan, and then they will send you the mini dish for free, which you can leave on standby, but we're going to talk about that separately now. But just so you know, you have to be on the maximum to get the mini dish for free and the mini router. And we're going to talk about this too, because it seems like some stuff has pretty drastically changed on that and we haven't quite got it figured out yet, but we'll talk about it. So on to the mini. I got this one for free because I'm on the max package and I pay $7 or $6 or $5 or whatever it is. It stays on standby mode, and I'm going to be taking this in the car with me in case I have to make cell phone calls because we don't have cell reception in 90% of the area that I work. So how it works on standby mode is if you're going to do that, now, thanks to people giving us feedback, we know that you have to pull over the car and you can't drive with it and use it at the same time if you're on standby mode. If you have activated it, however, onto a monthly plan, I believe there's a light package for which is $40 or $50 or $35 in the States. I'm not sure, something like that. You guys are going to have to look at it yourselves. So if you do that, then you have, I think, 100 gigs of data. Once again, verify before you order it. And if you pay a certain amount, you're going to have unlimited packages. So this can be turned on and off if you go on camping trips or you're traveling or whatever. So there is some stuff that you need to kind of look into there. We're kind of giving you the gist of it. Certainly, if you want to ask some questions in the comments, we will research it more and ask. But that's about all we've been able to figure out. We do know that people were upset because you could, on standby mode, drive around with this in your car and use it while you were in motion, and now you can't. So now you have to pull over and use it. So that's the big thing that we kind of learned over the last little while. So according to my son who did the research on this, he found out some interesting things, and he found that even if it is activated, you can't drive over 100 miles an hour or 160 kilometers an hour. So guys, slow down, especially in Montana, because I know you guys can drive whatever speed you want, but if it's not working, you're going 180, that's why. Okay, so I had somebody reach out to me and they were talking about maritime usage because there's a different maritime package or whatever. He's like, well, I don't want to have to spend all that money for a maritime package just to go out in my little fishing boat. Well, guys, I got to tell you, if you take this thing from your car into your fishing boat and you're 100 feet from shore, I don't think it's going to care. I think it's that if you're venturing off across the ocean or something, it's going to get really picky about it. So anyway, anybody out there that's tried it, let me know. That way I can pass that on to other people. All right, so we're done with the mini dish for now. Keep in mind, we're going to update these every few weeks or whatever. This is just kind of where we're at now, and any feedback would be helpful with us going forward. And the mini routers, where it gets confusing now because they did start to give them away for free very recently with the max package as well. And I ordered one for a customer, and he just got it yesterday. I'm going to install it this afternoon, actually. And he's the last one that was able to get it. Because I did look in the shop and it had shot up from $50 Canadian up to $150-ish Canadian. And I was like, well, what is going on with that? Because that's insanely expensive for what this is. And then the next day it became totally unavailable. I haven't seen it since. So we're wondering about this whole it's being made in the Netherlands thing. That's what's been online there. And it's going to take us some time to figure out how this actually lands. But not made in the USA router. So apparently that's a big no-no now. So we don't know if this thing is going to have to be, remanufactured in the USA. But at the same time, too, I do know for a fact that the regular routers in our area, which are the main routers for the system, you can still get these. And this works exactly the same. In fact, it's better than this. So you guys have got to give us a pass on that one. The information's too new. We just don't have it yet. If anybody knows anything specific, then let us know. So as I said at the beginning, guys, we have 2 installation videos that show you pretty much how to do normal installs. And we're going to be releasing a couple more in the near future. And we're just going to keep on installing stuff. And we're going to get into security cameras and stuff too, but that's a different point. So for right now, what do we need to consider when we're ordering it? So first of all, you're going to go down to the referral link and you're going to click on and see what plans are available. Talk about that in a minute. This is the cable it comes with. This is a 50-footer, okay? I always carry as an installer around with me a 100-foot cable. That way, if this isn't long enough, then we have a backup here. So we're gonna have linked down below a 75-foot cable, 100, a 200, and a 300. 300 is as long as you can go. Just keep in mind when you order the dish, and we're gonna talk about the mounts now too, because when you get this thing, you're gonna wanna be able to use it immediately. Okay, so that's the cabling. Now we're gonna talk about the mount. Okay, so this is a Starlink fascia mount. So we have a whole video on the mounts. I'm just gonna briefly touch on it here. But anyway, so you just take that out there. I'll put that in my pile of corpses. You just take your fascia mount there and you put your cable in there and you snap it in. But as you can see, this is pretty limiting in where it will work. And you can check that video out for that too, because you're gonna mount this on the fascia here and the roof is gonna be, you know, whichever way it's going. And this is not, in my opinion, high enough. It should be up about here, but that is what it is. Keep that in mind when you're ordering the mount. This is the one that I use the most because it is by far the most versatile. And so this would go on your fascia, hopefully, or on your roof. And we're gonna have another video shortly on that because people are complaining that I have it on a roof. You know, not installing people that don't know anything about it. So this just goes into the dish. And then when you just put this on the house there, and then you put the two together, and there's your mount. Okay, we will have all these linked below as well. You cannot get a mount like this from Starlink. This is why I'm mentioning it. For some reason, they didn't realize how important of a mount that was, because it's the most versatile mount you can get. Any job that I do, I can use that mount. But should you have one of these, or an old Viasat arm, or a TV arm anyway, you can just order a pipe adapter, which we also have linked, stick it on the dish, and then boom, and tighten it down. So there's your mounting options. But once again, if you're getting serious about this, watch the mounting video. Watch all relevant videos, because if you're gonna get into it, you want to do it right. All right, plans as low as $35 a month. That's how they try to hook you in there, right? So what's the actual deal on these plans? We have 4-month introductories into the plans right now. Last month was slightly different, but the same idea. So in the US, you're gonna get $35. This is on the small plan, of course. $35 a month for the first 4 months, and then $50 for the rest of the year. So the next 8 months. And then after that, it's gonna go month to month. In Canada, same thing. Small plans would be $50, and then after 4 months, it's gonna go up to $70 for the remainder of the year. So we got 3 plans. They're all gonna be having their deals on there. Once again, you gotta click on the thing, put in your address to find out exactly what's available in your area. But that's kind of the hook that they got going on. And in my opinion, it's a pretty good deal. Okay, so I'm gonna give you the example that I know. So in this area here, we're open for beta testing back in 2021. Up until about 2 weeks ago, we only had one plan available, the max plan, which was $140 Canadian plus tax. So now we have some choices. And anybody that's in Canada there, if you're past your contract or whatever, you can lower your plan now. If you bought your dish, you're not under contract. So anybody that's had the dish for several years, if you want to turn it down, by all means. It's not probably just Canada, it's this part of Ontario, I'm not sure. But check your bill and make sure you're paying an appropriate amount. So for download speed on the smallest plan, we have up to 100 megabits of download speed, which to be fair, it's been pretty consistent. And on the upload speed, we have up to 10 megabit, and it's an unlimited package. They are all unlimited. So don't worry about a data cap. We don't have to worry about data caps here. It's all about what speed do you need. They have a 100 meg plan, a 200 meg plan, and then the max plan, which I guess is somewhere around 300 to 400. Who needs what plan? Okay, so a regular household just watching Netflix, maybe streaming a couple of TVs or something like that, and then doing a bunch of downloading and blah, 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 blah. Basically, it's how much you use at the same time. Once again, data caps are not an issue. So the question is how much usage is going to happen in your household. So if you got, you know, a couple of adults and a couple of teenagers or whatever, 100 megs is more than enough. Okay, you might even, if you're on the iffy side there, go up to the 200. The max is totally unnecessary in my opinion. Just keep in mind, in case there's been any changes, there have been some people around here that have had half a dozen teenagers and they just rip through data like crazy. So just keep that in mind. I have places where there's a couple households that might be sharing it, then in which case you're not going to want to skimp on that. But a regular household is fine with 100 megs. So don't kind of get duped into believing you're going to need to have a huge package, because 100 megs of speed is going to allow at least half a dozen people to stream at the same time and then still have some in reserve. Because every time you're streaming something, typically you're using less than 10 megs per stream, unless you're going crazy 4K high def, which might be 30 to 50 if it gets insanely high or whatever. If you got people in the house streaming at extremely high levels there that are completely unnecessary, just tell them to turn down the resolution and that will free up the bandwidth. Because the one thing that internet companies love to do is they love to get you on the maximum package there because it's unlimited and you can do whatever you want. It's never going to be a problem. And they know that 95% of the customers will not use it anywhere near the capacity and they are overpaying for most packages. I know this because I used to work for ExploreNet. They love getting people on the big packages because they know they're only going to use a fraction of it. So I'm not saying that Starlink is pulling something like that. I'm just saying that the internet companies in the past have notoriously done that. So they have basically programmed everybody to believe that they need the higher packages. I'm not saying that Starlink is doing this because they're just following suit with everybody else. You have a whole history of people brainwashing you in the past to have way more data than you need. But that's my opinion. Once again, do your research and figure it out for yourself. Just don't want you to overpay. Great point made by our cameraman slash researcher, Jonathan there. He says, and I totally agree with this, didn't really think about it. If your business depends on it, you're doing Zoom calls and you absolutely can't take any chances whatsoever, use the maximum package because you're going to get priority service. So if for whatever reason there's way too much traffic and there's limitations in the bandwidth, you're going to be taken care of. If your livelihood depends on it, don't chintz out. All right, so having said all of that, once again, if you help us out, use the referral link if you're going to order it. We appreciate that. And we're going to have our Buy Me a Coffee in the description down below if you feel like we saved you a bunch of money and you'd like to contribute a little bit to help us with production or whatever. And please like, comment, subscribe, help us grow this channel. We are focusing a lot on Starlink stuff right now, and we're going to throw a bunch more installs and, like I said, a bunch of relevant things to help people out with that. But it's not the purpose of this channel. This happens to be my livelihood, and we're throwing everything into the channel right now to do with that so they can just kind of run in the background, and we're going to move on to some really cool stuff going forward. Like I said, with the security cameras, we'll do point-to-points. We got one that we're shooting across a lake, going to 2 different places using these big fancy dishes, and we're going to bring you along for everything that we think is really fun and cool. We don't even know what we're going to do yet. Stay tuned, and thanks for watching.